June the 9th? June 10th. It would help if I read the agenda. There we go. Yeah. June 10th, meeting of the Sobrante Municipal Advisory Council. So let's get started at 7 p.m. Ronnie, sir, if you'd be kind enough to take the roll.
Tom Lang
Is excused.
George Cleveland.
I'm here.
Jim Herman.
Present.
Jed Hart.
Here.
Terry Edlinger. Tom Owens.
Here.
Randy Lloyd.
Here.
Dr. Melinda McLean.
Is excused.
And Mickey Norris.
Is excused.
Okay,
so who wants to volunteer to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I'll do it. Okay. Here we go.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As soon as possible. Mr. Mills, sir, what's our treasurer's report?
We're sitting pretty at $3,000.
Good. Approval of the minutes. Hopefully people had a chance on the council had a chance to look at them. And I would entertain a motion to accept the minutes with any changes.
Second vote.
I didn't.
No, I'll make a motion.
Made by Tom, seconded by Terry. Did anybody see anything in the minutes that needed fixing?
I glanced at it, I didn't see anything glaring.
Okay. Okay.
And once again, I would request that we get a printed copy of the minutes here. It's an actionable item, we should be reading.
So noted.
And we send out 2 notices with them attached.
I know, but we should have them in front of us on paper.
It's not normal policy. I'm going off the board supervisors meetings also.
Okay,
They provide agendas as well.
Any actionable item should be in paper in front of us.
Okay, that's a separate item that will be dealt with on the motions. This is over the discussion. All in favor of accepting the minutes from the May 13th back meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I'll abstain because I wasn't there. Motion carries. Okay, now we're down to presentations. We're going to start with the first one, which is the county update from the supervisor in Joy's office, and Ronnie is going to take care of that because that's what it does. Amongst many things.
This is what everybody has told me that show. Good evening, everyone. Starting with the first item for today's this month's county update, the FBI investigation of county at the county assessor's office. Tuesday, June 9th, the FBI executed a warrant to search the Contra Costa County Assessor's Office, headquarters in Martinez, including other property and vehicles under the control of publicly elected Assessor Gus Kramer and Assistant Assessor Vince Robb. The FBI has confirmed that it also searched the homes of Kramer and Robb. The county is monitoring the law enforcement investigation, and county council has directed that the employees of the assessor's office fully cooperate with this investigation. While there are certain limitations on the Board of Supervisors' authority because of the county assessor's office is under the direct control of publicly elected Assessor Gus Kramer, the board is focused on ensuring the integrity of the property assessment process and will explore all available options for the office's continued operation and delivery of services in a fair and impartial manner. And the Board of Supervisors censured Gus Kramer in 2019. Each member of the board, including Supervisor Joya, endorsed Richmond resident and real estate attorney Floyd Andrews, who unsuccessfully challenged Gus Kramer for the county assessor in 2022. And the assessor's role is to locate, inventory, and determine the value of all real estate and business personal property within the county. This calculated assessed value is used as a basis for levying local property taxes, which fund our schools and public services provided by cities and special districts. And next item on the list here is food vendors on the dam road. The county has filed a civil complaint in the County Superior Court seeking injunctive relief against the operators of Tacos El Torito, an unpermitted mobile food business that is operated in Rodeo and here in El Sobrante. According to the filing, county environmental health staff documented numerous violations over multiple inspections, including operating without a valid health permit and repeated failure to comply with notices of violation and cease and desist orders. The county alleges that enforcement efforts have been ongoing since 2024 and that operators continue conducting business despite repeated notices, penalties, and compliance opportunities. The lawsuit seeks court intervention to prohibit continued unpermitted operations and compel compliance with applicable health and safety regulations. The matter is now pending before the county Superior Court. And jumping down to our update regarding the Pebble Drive road safety. County Public Works has planned to move forward with a 7-ton truck weight restriction on Pebble Drive, consistent with the existing restriction on La Paloma Drive. Traffic data reviewed by Public Works did not meet the county's criteria for speed bumps. However, staff will explore other traffic calming options like curb extensions or bulb outs designated to slow vehicles and improve pedestrian safety. Additional updates will be provided as the proposed truck restriction moves forward for the Board of Supervisors consideration. And lastly, as always, shameless plug for our commissions and councils and boards. And so if you'd like to have that extensive list, we have a number of council commissions that are currently vacant for District 1. You can reach out to me directly, and it will be sent out in our Friday newsletter. But this is my update.
Thank you. Any questions? We'll start with questions from the MAC and then we'll go to the audience. So I didn't see who's handling it first, so I saw. Oh, okay, go ahead, Tom.
Can you give us any information of what the FBI is looking for?
I don't.
You cannot or then you won't.
I don't have an idea. You can't because the FBI wasn't very.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of a fish thing. Terry.
So on the update of 7-ton trucks, is that going to be implemented anytime soon? Or did I hear you say it's going to the Board of Supervisors to be considered?
Yes, so it's going to be considered by the Board of Supervisors. That's the next step, along with the consideration for bulb outs. And so we had a meeting with Public Works a week and a half-ish ago. And so that's going to be the next step forward, just to kind of see where specifically would be the best, most appropriate areas to put those bulb outs.
Is public invited to that at all, or are those Board of Supervisor meetings closed?
Oh no, it's just available to the public. Yeah. So once it gets on the agenda.
So with that, with what you said, do we have an approximate time frame as to when it will be on the agenda, and then if it gets approved, how long it will be before that relief comes to the street? You know, the signage and the like?
No, but as soon as I get any update, I'll update everyone here.
Okay, yeah, because it is important, because as you've heard in past meetings, there are people that for whatever reason do not treat that street with the respect it deserves, which means drive slow, especially going downhill. So the sooner the better, because it's unfortunate comparing instances of cars winding up in people's front yards. And I'm concerned that some car's gonna wind up in somebody's house. So we want the sooner the better would be great.
Yes.
Okay, any other questions from the MAC for Ronnie? All right, so let's go to the audience. Okay, well, 1 and then 2. Go ahead.
A little more information on the Pebble Drive, since I am the contact person representing the neighborhood with the county office. And I've been in correspondence with Supervisor Joya as well as Mark De La O with the traffic public works.
Yeah.
Public Works. He told me there has to be a 60-day opportunity for the public to offer feedback on this, so on the 7-ton limit. And so once that's done and the Board of Supervisors looked at it, then it would be put into motion. So we're ready to pop a cork in September to celebrate the sign, the weight limit going up. We had requested a 3.5-ton limit, but Mark explained to me that there are many, as well as Supervisor Joya, that there are many SUVs and trucks that are 3 tons. And so that limitation is not used any longer. I also emailed Supervisor Joya about the flashing speed signs, and he says that Public Works has designated Pebble Drive as one of the streets among like a dozen different streets to have these signs. It's going to be taken up or part of the 26-27 fiscal year. And then to be implemented 27-28. So we're still a ways out, but at least they even sent us a map of where approximately where the signs might go. And then he also talked about the bulb outs that Ronnie talked about, and we're also hoping to be in more conversation with striping on the road that makes it look like it's a speed hump, but it's not actually there since those won't work. So yeah, we're seeing some progress. We're very grateful to Supervisor Joya and everybody involved in taking the concerns seriously.
I want to thank you for your advocacy and your persistence on this issue because it produced results that are going to be positive for that street. So thank you. Yes, sir.
I just wanted to thank you, Ronnie, and Supervisor Joya for going as far as we have. And I think everything's been mentioned. I think, you know, if there is a way to, if you and Supervisor Joya feel it's worthwhile to give any short presentation to the supervisors or to prepare something for their meeting. That really both expresses the positive side of this, but there's some results. I think another very important thing is that, you know, Pebble is one of the multiple streets. It's kind of egregious that are in El Sobrante. And, you know, we would very much like to be able to discuss measures that can be applied elsewhere and to kind of get this sort of information. But again, thanks. Because we're just here to say thanks.
Allison, did you have a hand? No, okay. All right, is there any? Yes, sir.
I'm from Chicago Pizza. I believe you remember we came last time. So thank you, like the update he gave, but now there's another update. These people are available on social media. They have their Google page, they have their Facebook page, they have their Instagram page having the address of the property which doesn't belong to them. And now there's a new vendor at APM with the name of Tire and Wheel Expert. They close at 6:30. They are taking money from a vendor which has a selling the pizza back of SUV truck, and they sell till 11 p.m. in the night.
I think I've seen that.
And he's taking money. He used to be my client. I went there. I said, sir, you are doing a business, I'm doing a business, and it doesn't suit you. He said, if you want to give him one shot, let him buy the things, make and get all the things which are required to do it. And he said, he's just paying me, I'm taking money. What happened? Like he don't need permit, I don't need permit. My shop is closed. He's not inside the shop. He's outside the shop. So I don't know how these things are happening. 2 years. We are also dealing with San Pablo Dam Road. Now it's APM Way next to this building. It's not far from this building. I tried everywhere. I don't know now the court thing will go in 5 years. That will be 5 plus 2, 7 years. I don't know how many more years. And I think I have to shut down my business because these things keep happening. I cannot survive. Because they are sitting next to my thing. And yes, there are other people selling the stuff, but they are not paying taxes, they are not having permit, and they are not safe. But still, if you now go past San Pablo Dam Road, there are 50 people buying it. And I have no idea what's happening, and nobody bothers. So
well, we have it sounds like it's another situation where a supervisor's office should.
Yeah, we're aware of that, and we're actively investigating that.
Because the social media aspect, I'm not sure that we have any control over that part of it. Because
no, sir, I'm sharing because previously when I came first time, he said they might have a permit. So if somebody has a permit, they will not open at 7 p.m. Any other place.
Right.
They will not open at 7 p.m. That's the time to go home. All government offices are shut down. Nobody's gonna come and raid at 7 p.m. They know it. That's why they're opening 7 to 11. But that's the only time a food industry works.
Right. It's also partly an educational thing because like I said, I've seen the post for this about, this guy selling pizza out the back of his car, somewhere around here. And people are saying, oh, that's great. And they just don't realize, well, they need a permit to do it. There are health and safety concerns about it. And it infringes, it's like they don't pay their taxes. It infringes on the existing business. So there needs to be, I think, an educational component as well, because people are thinking this food's great. It's like, well, yeah, it might be, but there are other things that should preclude it from being sold in that location. So is there some, I mean, obviously you're aware of the situation, which is a good thing, but is there some other way to get maybe in the newsletter, maybe an item that says, hey, you've seen this unpermitted stuff, don't patronize it because, and list the reasons why not to? Is that possible?
I don't know about that, but I can definitely follow back up with both Supervisor Joya and code enforcement, because that was a part of our whole update that we received within the agency that they're looking into that situation.
Yeah, I would just think that, like I said, education would be helpful because, you know, the supervisor has his social media as well, he has his Facebook, you know, and he posts things on there. There might be that way to do it, just because, you know, it's a problem and it's affecting hardworking businessmen like this gentleman here.
So now you're paying 5,500 rent every month, just in it, I'm not including other expenses. If you just calculate, it's in my 4th year, 3.5 year completed, I already paid $100,000 just in rent, which nobody else is paying. And I would request if you can start with something with the pizza thing, send a notice to this tire guy, because he needs to understand that he can't just take $50 or $100 in pocket and allow someone to run a food place. What if he gets a fire? And I don't understand, even fire people are not even seeing it. If you just pass St. Paul Dam Road, it's smoke, literally smoke, burning smokes on the bus stand.
Okay.
It's actually the bus stand where they're working.
And that explains why people have been posting on drugstore saying, well, I stay around here, I smell smoke, where is it coming from? Okay.
And
So-
it's blocking the, sorry to
the,
interrupt, but it's blocking the wheelchair.
Okay, so that's a problem.
There is no bus stand, there is no wheelchair to pass. If somebody actually handicapped, he cannot take the bus, he cannot cross the street.
Okay, so that's an immediate problem then, you know, just the fact that that's illegal, isn't it?
Yeah, we're following up on that, so if there's any update, then I'll definitely give that for.
Sir, thank you for bringing this to our attention again, and we're trying.
Problem, if you want to note down, is tire and wheel experts.
Right. You know,
And that's the person who's actually allowed the pizza truck to park over there.
Okay, so it's a couple of things, so the business owner of Tire Express should be notified, and the building owner as well.
Again,
You got it?
Okay, we have all that information.
All right, yeah.
Just note it, he's the owner of the building, but he actually owns the building.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, anything else for Ronnie from the audience?
Do we have to do anything else at our part, because I did call the food department to let them know that there is a unlicensed vendor that's running the pizza place behind their tow truck. So is there anything else that we're supposed to do?
Outside of that, no, and again, I'll follow up with code enforcement and county health just to see if there's been any recent complaints. But if you haven't reached out to code enforcement, I would definitely do that on top of county health or environmental health.
The only thing I might suggest you do if you aren't already is to documenting everything when they show up and approximately when they leave. Just
That was saying, and social media, everything.
The social media, that's why we brought it up, because it exactly shows their location with the videos, where there is a proof that where they are located with the time that they're there.
Okay,
Thursday to Sunday, it's 7 to 11 or 12.
all right, so that's been documented as well, okay.
Yes.
So we don't need to collect any proofs, everything is available, they are making food, where they are making food, it adds the bus stop. It adds the back of the truck, it adds in front of the tire shop, everything is there.
Okay, well, let's move on then to the next presentation, which is gonna be from the sheriff's office, Lieutenant Fitzgerald is here.
Good evening.
Hello, sir.
Good evening. The month of May, there was a total of 701 calls for service, which generated a total of 62 reports. There was a bunch of them which were like probation violations, suspended vehicle or licenses, some traffic. There was a handful of misdemeanor burglaries. And those were kind of spread out throughout the month, one in the beginning, one in the middle, one in the end. There's an auto burglary. And there was also residential burglary, a couple like petty thefts of vehicle parts and some chocolates. But yeah, a total of 60 reports. Looking back, handful of vandalisms as well. The previous 2 months, so in March and in April, there was only one vandalism per month. This month, we had an uptick of 3. Or excuse me, last month in May, we had an uptick of 3. And same thing with the burglaries. Burglaries have been down, whether it's commercial, residential, or from vehicles. I take that back. Auto burglaries in April, there was a total of 2. But we're back down to 1. So it's kind of a summary of some of the crime trends that have occurred over the last month. Outside of that, this is going to be my last meeting. I'm getting moved to a different assignment. They have not selected who the next lieutenant that will be in charge of the base station will be. But once they do, they should be showing up to meetings, and you guys have my email for any of the prep stuff for the also running stroll. Feel free to send it to me, and I'll keep working on it until they appoint the next lieutenant.
So of course, we thank you for your service and for our meetings and presenting to us to be this information. Does anyone on the MAC have any questions for Lieutenant Jim?
I have one question, I'm not sure exactly. So earlier this month, there's a house on my street. I believe during the last meeting I was on Zoom, I asked you about like animal control when does it become a sheriff's issue, but that house was, the interesting thing was they were, I don't know if the word was rated, but there's like 6 cars, Oakland police. And I guess the Contra Costa sheriffs never showed up, and I was just wondering like how that. And if they were serving water, they searched the house, they pulled everyone out, everyone back there now. But yeah, it was Oakland police without a county sheriff.
Okay, so Oakland, like 6 Oakland PD cars were at the house.
Yeah. Then
Most likely they had a search warrant. Now, maybe one of the people that lived there went into Oakland, committed some crimes, they tracked him back to wherever the street is, and then they were looking for evidence of whatever crime that occurred in their city. A lot of times for those, like when outside agencies come, they just notify us. They don't always request for our presence or assistance with it. They a lot of times it's just like, hey, we're gonna be here that way in case you get calls and police cars in an neighborhood, you guys know that it's us.
Okay.
So they don't always ask for us to come either.
Okay.
So
Anybody else on that have any questions for Lieutenant? I have one, but it's gonna be as a member of the public, not in this role. Anyone in the audience? Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I had planned to talk or ask Michelle when she gives a report about our district. 4th of July is coming up, and we have some rather enthusiastic neighbors behind us. We want to set off like really scary fireworks, and so. In the sheriff's point of view, there's something that we could do as well, so. If I'm concerned about illegal activity or dangerous activity, what should I do as a homeowner?
I'll give you my business card, that way you don't have to give your address out to whoever's on online listening. And then we can, until they start lighting off fireworks, like just that, I mean, I'm sure you have a history of like the last X amount of years, they light off fireworks, and not just the small little things that people, do in their yards. Obviously for the county of Contra Costa County, there are no fireworks that are illegal. But until they start doing something, can't really take any action. But still, I'll give you my card and we can talk further.
Okay. When you first came in, I told you about your favorite house on Lambert Road and the, what I'll call suspicious to me vehicle there. Since I was at the last meeting, I just asked, what did they do that required basically 8 of you to come down, and it was in April, block off the street and say, no, to be no, sir, you cannot go to your house, you have to wait, which was for 45 minutes. So what did they do?
I think there was a shooting
in the house?
Not in the house, but I think there was a shooting in the street towards the house.
What a surprise. So that's by my count, that is probably at least probably the third, fourth, maybe 5th time that's happened.
That was at night, right?
Yeah, it was
8, 9 o'clock.
at least because I didn't get, I was coming down the street, it's like, oh, look at that, what else is there? But that was the new part was, being stuck, they couldn't go through, because they had blocked off with the crime scene tape, and they couldn't get to my house, but it was just sat and chatted with the neighbors. But I should be, okay, that tracks. Okay, well, Lieutenant, thank you again for your time, and do you have another card for me? Because I know I have your card at home somewhere, I cannot find it, I wanna email you the information about that suspicious to me vehicle.
Yeah.
Thank you. And let's see. Let's have that, and if anyone else wants to attend his card, I'll give it him. Thank you. From what I understand, this position rotates. Yeah, it does, yeah. That's what the sheriff told me when I asked him that sometime ago. Okay, so let's move on to our next, which is a fire update from Michelle Reinhardt, and I see that she is online with us and she's unmuted. Michelle, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can. So can half the county at the moment, but that's okay.
Oh, no.
It's not you. It's not you.
Is that better?
Well, it's not. It's better. It wasn't you. Ronnie's working on it. It was our system here, so you're okay now. Go ahead.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so first, I'd like to congratulate Fire Chief Aaron McAllister on his official swearing in as Fire Chief of Contra Costa County Fire Protection District. Surrounded by family and friends, county officials, community partners, and members of the fire service, Chief McAllister took the oath of office and reaffirmed his commitment to serving the residents of Contra Costa County. So I congratulate him as he brings uh, decades of experience, leadership, and dedication to his role. So congratulations. Next is I'd like to address the comment by the member of the public about fireworks. Fire and law officials remind residents and visitors that all fireworks, regardless of type or labeling, are illegal everywhere in Contra Costa County. There are no safe and sane fireworks, regardless of the markings to the contrary. They are all dangerous and uncontrollable. Additionally, the potential for serious injury posed by these illegal devices and the risk of causing catastrophic wildfires during this time of high fire danger is great. All fireworks are again illegal in Contra Costa County. To report fireworks in the county, please call 833 885 2021. Again, that's 833 885 2021. Finally, I'd like to share with you a significant progress of the wildfire mitigation project mapping portal. The Contra Costa County Wildfire Mitigation Program started mapping all of the fuel breaks last year to upload the data into Landfire. The fuel breaks are being tracked on a GIS mapping platform, which is now publicly viewable on our website at www.cccfpd.org. The link will be shared with cities, fire safe councils, and government agencies. I've shared that in the link to Ronnie now. And we would like to promote this feature through the state mapping program called CalMapper with our CAL FIRE partners. Mitigation projects completed by East Bay Municipal Utility District, East Bay Regional Park District, and Contra Costa County Public Works are also sharing data on fuel breaks and evacuation routes to be uploaded into our local dashboard for tracking countywide mitigation efforts. With that, I'd like to share my screen. So what you see now on the screen is a zoomed in view. And so just as an example, I'm going to zoom in a little further here. You'll see that this Wild Canyon project, we performed cutting and chipping, established a 50 to 100 foot wide shaded fuel break, cutting grass and weeds with string trimmers. The treatment area was 1.9 acres. Vegetation density was minimum. Completion status, it was completed in November of 2025. This was an initial treatment with local Measure X funds supporting the project within the city of Richmond. So again, you can click in, zoom out, you can see the exact project. Projects are still being uploaded, so it's not complete. We are working with our GIS partners within Confire and GIS partners with the agencies I listed to enhance and saturate this map with projects. Finally, the weed abatement deadlines for East Contra Costa County were May 15th, and West Contra Costa and Central Contra Costa County were June 1st. Fire inspectors continue to inspect parcels throughout the district to enforce exterior hazard ordinances. With that, I'm ready for your questions.
Okay, I'll start on that. Michelle, do you think that you could work with Supervisor Joy's office to have the new chief come to one of our municipal advisory council meetings, whether in person or via Zoom? Because it would be nice to meet the individual. I mean, Chief Rochard has come to these meetings before, so I would think it would be nice if his successor would follow suit.
I will note that as a request from the MAC board. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anybody else on the back have any questions for Michelle? Okay, what about the audience? Anybody have any questions or comments for Michelle? Did you want to? No,
I think she addressed
she
it.
addressed it. Okay. Okay, well, Michelle, as always, thank you for coming to our municipal advisory council meetings and providing the report information. It's very helpful, especially these days as it pertains to warmer weather and holidays and fireworks. So, and the mitigation project, this information is very helpful with the GIS that you've got there. So, thank you again for coming to our meeting.
Thank you. And this really feeds that larger project of the Community Wildfire Protection Plan. All of the stakeholders, including this MAC board, along with Supervisor Joy's office and the residents, especially Firewise communities, will be a part of that process. I didn't mean to yell at you. And, and I look forward to seeing everyone next month. Thank you.
All right, Michelle. Okay, moving on, we have the last of our presentations from West County Wastewater Update. We have the director, Harry Weiner, here. We also have, he said to us earlier that his general manager might join us. I'm guessing that you are Abe.
That is correct.
Okay, so which of you is going to present or, okay. All right, Harry, tell us, it's about having this handout here. Folks get the have a chance to look at this Mr. Richard Great Plan handout, yes?
Yes.
I have some handouts which are not the same as what's going to be displayed on the screen. And I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Henry Weiner, West County Wastewater Director. I'm an elected representative of District 5. And District 5 is pretty large. It wraps all the way around east from 80 all the way down to East Richmond Heights, and then on both sides of May Valley, San Pablo Dam Road up to Valley View, Hilltop Drive, Valley View, and all the way down almost to the dam, the autonomous dam. And we recently had a rate presentation as part of Prop 218. And oh, I got this. Everybody have one? Last Wednesday, we had a public hearing on our 5-year rate plan, as required by Prop 218. Prop 218 defines the public process for establishing taxes and rates for government agencies and is in the California Constitution. My presentation to you all will be a version of the public hearing, so it will sound like the board has not voted on the plan. Spoiler alert, last Wednesday, you voted on the rate plan and it will go into effect on July 1st.
So this is the presentation that we gave the attendees at our board meeting prior to our vote. We used a lot of planning documents and consulting firms, projections, and our experience with capital program requirements to come up with our proposed rates. So this slide will go through a little bit of how we decide and what we decide. So we started with the idea that we had to develop and implement a new sewer service charge. We wanted to be sure that we used wise strategic use of debt. We would maintain a robust reserve fund as a cushion for future problems or requirements, stabilize our capital funding, which means the money that we will set aside to build or replace pipes, our different parts of our treatment plant, etc. That's capital funding. And then we wanted to put investments, increase our financial investments in our infrastructure, and support redundancy, resiliency, risk reduction, and lifestyle asset reinvestment. So this was a long-term planning and presentation that we as a board were given. Our sewer utility is financially self-supporting enterprise. Our sewer service charges are the main source of revenues for each enterprise, each sewage enterprise, and need to be set at levels adequate to fund the cost of providing service. Our sewer system includes 249 miles of gravity sewer pipelines, 17 lift stations, 6 miles of pressure force mains, and a water quality and resource recovery plant with capacity of 12.5 million gallons per day, as permitted for dry weather flow. I'd like to point out 6 miles of pressure force mains. Imagine sewage under pressure, and then how people describe disasters as sewage hitting the fan. This would be one of those instances if one of those pipes breaks, only it would be underground and pouring on the ground, but it's under pressure. So we've had we spent a fair amount of time and effort going over the quality of our force mains, and we put that in our plan to replace them and also make them resilient by, instead of running 2 pipes, one pipe will run 2 pipes so that we can shut one off if it breaks and continue operating on the other pipe. And we have 34,000, you are among the 34,000 residential customers and 900 commercial and industrial customers. Rock's decision 218, as I described earlier, is a defined procedure for raising rates, and it was passed by the citizens of California and actually put into the Constitution. So it's not easily changed, and so it has some requirements for us. When we raise rates, that they can't exceed the cost of providing service. They have to be proportionate cost recovery, fair and equitable. And mail notices, we have to mail notices of rate increases. So you all should have received a mail, and it informed you all of a public hearing 45 days prior. And then we accepted and
got 61 protests, but the law defines what a valid protest is. And so I think 61 people used the ballot, sent us a ballot protest, but there were 4 or 5 that, according to Prop 218, weren't valid. But we read them all and took note. So this is what our wastewater treatment plant looks like, and it's off of the Parkway, next to the mountain, Republic's mountain of garbage, or former mountain of garbage. It's covered now, and we're getting very close to completing all these projects that you see here. We're also in the planning stage to protect. You can see on the right hand upper corner, we're on the marsh, and we're basically at sea level. And so we've been planning about what to do when sea level rises. And we're starting now, and we started earlier. And we've actually moved the Army Corps of Engineers to consider our project and fund it. They'll be considering us, I think, a pilot study, and they may use our plan completely going around the bay to defend all of the properties that are right up against it. So, and we're talking about our plan covers 6 miles of shoreline, so that would protect all the neighborhood. You can see at the top left would be the protection, and go up to Barchester and Point Point. So that's just the plan, and we've been working on it little by little. So some of your rates go toward that planning process, but we've gotten grants also from other big interested organizations. We're also going to be able to produce 1.5 milliwatts of milliwatts of power from our digesters, and the heat from our generators will be used to dry our biosolids, so they're lighter and cheaper to transport, and may be used for fertilizer depending on federal government regulation. And they also power our blowers, which oxygenate the biological process that we do. It's a pretty amazing thing. I've learned a lot about it over the last 9 years, and it's chemical, biological, mechanical, and electrical. It's pretty amazing if you think about it as a machine. We've also worked, staff has worked diligently to produce cost controls. Over the last 9 years, we adopted a policy of planning, and by planning, we have looked at all of our processes and all of our paperwork and everything that goes into running a district, and try to extract efficiency on all of those things. You can see we've got some grant funding. Our staff has, and our board has gone out and tried to get grants. We're always thinking about efficiency. We have partners, and we renegotiated an operating agreement with City of Richmond, and we're going to get 1.9 million in revenue. And we also, the generators that I was talking about, our current bill before they come online is $2 million, is 1.9 million at today's, but tomorrow's dollars, and I literally mean tomorrow dollar, it'll probably be 2 million. So we'll be saving $2 million, and if PG&E gives us the capacity to put it out on their system. Can further produce energy that can go to our public, and as an agency, we can't make a profit on that. So we would just be adding to reduce costs for energy by supplying the PG&E electricity. So this is the process that we did. We had a consultant. We were presented with two possibilities: one, borrowing money for our for adding our capital improvements, and the other was to pay as we go. We already have a fair amount of debt, and so as a board, we decided we would go with the pay as you go to keep our costs low, since interest cost on millions of dollars is a burden on our agency. We did a study to make sure that our rate that we would distribute our rates to establish the cost of our rates, that we would make them fair and equitable according to 218. And we also have differential costs for commercial and industrial usage. And then we have we've done a fair amount of financial projections and studies over the last 9 years. So there's been plenty of thought put into the financial future of the district and our general state of affairs in the state. And these are our financial drivers. We're seeing consumer price index increases over 10%. Construction costs have gone up 15 to 20% in the San Francisco Bay Area, 2022 to 2026. We're currently in our 2026 fiscal year. Aging infrastructure, capital improvement needs. We did a capital improvement study and came up with millions and millions of dollars of need. And then staff evaluated it and prioritized it. And I think there's a slide coming up that shows the difference between what our 10-year capital improvement budget was predicted to be if we did everything that needed to be done right away. And you'll see that we managed to reduce that to reasonable levels. We also have borrowed money. The state does not help us. It'll loan us money and then charge us interest. So that's how they help us. And the federal government ditto. They send the state the SRF funds to loan to us. 2021 revenue bond that we got. We have an annual payment of $4.77 million and interest included. So those are fixed costs every year. And what we got for that was all that project work that I described from union labor. And so union guy. Annual cost we have a pension liability. That's another issue that I'd like to take up with the state. The way they calculate what we owe to the pension fund requires us to make up the difference if the stock market doesn't perform as they predict. So we have to come up with somewhere around $1.4 million a year to cover the retirement costs. And then we have increased staffing costs because cost of living goes up and our staff deserves to be paid for the wonderful work they do. This is that capital needs compared to what we're planning on spending. Light blue is what we're planning on spending.
The dark blue is what we need. Ultimately, but we're gonna spread that out over more years. And we've done a fair amount of studies to make sure that we do what's needed now and can put off what's needed later. And this is the 2026 spending. I mean, this is our 5-year spending starting in fiscal year 2027 on capital improvements. The loan that we got, that we pay $4.7 million a year, is just, that money is just being spent and finished spending this year was the end of a 5-year plan. So at 29.6 is the end of that big, large borrowing. And when we're done with that, all of those most of those projects that you saw at the beginning are going to be done. October, I think, is our date. That we're hoping that it all comes together. We're going to throw a party at the plant. And I would say this: if you've never been to a sewage treatment plant, come to ours. It's probably the nicest there is, and also it's a real interesting thing to see. Although it may have an odor that it's not so good, but it's not as bad as you think. All right, this is projected revenues and expenses in millions. We're talking money, and the revenues that we're going to generate from our 5-year plan are there in that thin purple line that goes across the top, and the proportions of capital improvement and debt and operating expenses are in different colors. The light blue is operating, the orange is debt, and the gray is the additional capital improvement spending. And this is the rates as they will be starting in July, which is the beginning of our fiscal year 2027. You can see that they go up. These are annual costs, so we'll be, but we will be reviewing. These are maximums. We'll be reviewing every year whether we can, if the rates are successful at doing everything that we plan to do, and or we can find more efficiencies, we'll adjust the rates accordingly. But this would be the maximum that our rates would be. And it's unfortunate, but all of us are ratepayers and we bear the full cost of the sewage system. It's a summary of our rate plan, and I think I've gone over it. And this is where we sit compared to other agencies. The 2 gray lines are before the rate rise in July, and the dark gray line is after, and those are all the agencies that are comparable and are surrounding. And all of them, from the lowest to the highest, will all be adjusting their rates, some by 40% next year. So we're a little bit ahead of the power curve, but it's something that they all have to service. And I think that's it. So this is how this was the timeline for setting the rates. Started back in May 2025. Either vote. And then we had a presentation of our 2 scenarios, pay as you go, borrow, in November 2025, and the board selected the pay as you go, and then borrow at wells presented the board with rate plan, we've gone over. Documentation on. Reviewed thousands of pages of documents and then had our public. Last Wednesday. And these next steps of order. I did want to say, I did want to make a summary. Presentation is a summary of literally thousands of pages of 5-year plans, 10-year plans, strategic plans, budgets, audits, presentation, graphs, progress reports, checkbook entries, professional engineering reports, professional financial advice, employee surveys that led me to approve this rate plan. I make no claim to any special knowledge or experience other than the volumes of information I was presented in my role as your representative. It is my opinion that the agency provides such important benefits for the public health and well-being that it cannot be allowed to fall into disrepair or languish at the edge of failure. And as I said before, unfortunately, we the ratepayers of West County wastewater bear the sole financial burden for its continued ability to provide these benefits.
Hey, anybody have any on the back, any questions? I'm looking you up on the website. How do you pronounce your last name, sir? Wow, it's so Clough. So you probably get pronounced 17 different ways. Clough. Wow. Okay. So does anybody on the back have any questions for General Manager? Yeah. Or Director Weiner? Yes, Randy.
Do you sit on the board of directors as well?
No,
He's on staff.
He's the general manager.
And did West County Wastewater sign a PLA?
Yes, we did.
We just renewed it, but it's 5 years, and we renewed it December.
Good, for those who might not remember, with the initialism, it's a project labor agreement. And that's something that Randy in his other role, which is as the union leader for the. Who was it again? I should know. High defenders and farmers out of Oakland. We use that on a regular basis.
As you can imagine, there's a lot of
things. Anybody else on the have any questions for you, Harry or Mr. Kyle?
I'm just a random question, Harry. What sort of pressure is the sewage under?
I don't know, but I do know that once the pipe breaks, a lot is coming out.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know exactly what pressures, but I think they're sufficient to. I guess it's how high they're pushed, and I know sewage comes in down to the valley from all of the Fitzgerald development there, goes down into a valley and then comes up the valley and goes into down Paloma, La Paloma. Okay. So it comes up quite a bit, and I would say it's probably pretty high pressure to know.
Yeah, I don't want to quote pressure. It depends on where it is in the system. The majority of the system is gravity.
Right.
Now, just relying on this much.
About 6 miles of private.
We've got the different canyons and stream valleys. You got to get up and out and down. It's like Hilltop Green, for example, coming up to the top here. That's obviously what the pressure is. Yeah.
Yeah. Over the next 5 years, we're going to be replacing the pumps, and we're going to double the pipes and to make sure that we don't hit them.
Yeah. Good. Does anybody from the audience have any questions? Yes, Alan.
I should stand up.
You could.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Alan. Go ahead, Allison.
I'm interested in what is the plan in case of sea level rise?
Wow. We're the idea is we're going to build what they call an ecotane levee, which is a slope into the marsh, and it's planted with the succession that currently exists from wet to dry in a marsh area, so that as sea level rises, the plants that are normally always wet will be covered, and then as the sea level rises, that succession will continue up the slope, and the slope will be high enough at so that it supplies recreational opportunities, because the Bay Trail will run along the top of it. And so it's going to have multiple uses. There might even be a boat launch. There's going to be bridges. I mean, our plans look really good, and people will be able to use that coast, that shoreline more than they do.
So is it all along complete shoreline there?
We only have, I don't know, a mile and a half of our own.
Yeah, all less than that.
We've gotten grants to produce a document that describes all of this, and we've worked with the local community to come up with their ideas and incorporate that all.
We're in the
You can go online and see it.
We're in the planning and groveling stage. We try to get the funds, because we cannot fund it ourselves. There's just no way. We've leveraged so much of our own resources to make the improvements that we now want to protect. So between Castro Cove over by Chevron and Point Pinole is about a 5-mile stretch. Between Wildcat and San Pablo Creeks is our property, and that's around 0.6 miles. So the first phase will be to construct between the two creeks and tie into the existing levees the flood control district has. And will provide protection up into the neighborhood, as well as our treatment plant, the East Spring Light Facility on the Parkway, and the City of Richmond's treatment plant, because they send us their sludge, which we then process. But it's not funded. We're trying as hard as we can. We got $1.37 million, as you mentioned, from the Army Corps of Engineers into their work plan as an environmental infrastructure project in this administration. Yeah, we have a lot of congressionally directed spending, a lot of help from Congressman Garamendi. But the San Francisco office of the district court hasn't even done an environmental infrastructure project within their district. And it allows us more flexibility, allows us the potential to do more than design, rather than just turn it over to the Corps where they design and construct it and hand it back. So yeah, we got a lot of work to do to find funding, but there's a potential of up to $45 million of federal funding if we can get what's authorized by the Water Resource Development Act in 2022 into the Army Corps of Engineers work plan. That'll be a challenge, as they actually budget it, but do they actually have the dollars to authorize? And we're going to need to have a match of 25% or so. So it's another $7 or $8 million, $9 million we have to find. So to that end, we're hosting Senator Ergie tomorrow when we give a tour of the plant, talking to him about state matching funds.
If I had a hat, I'd show you how we are.
We need a boat launch down there.
Yeah.
Or Boulevard,
No, it was not a boat launch, it was a rowboat.
It's as part of the engagement with the our partners in the community, part of the Native American representatives. One thing that's missing along that whole shoreline was access to the water for a lot of their ceremonies that they historically have done. So it'll be more of a gravel beach in a couple of locations, so that there will be easy access to launch a human powered craft. It won't be like a marina.
Okay, Allison had one more comment, and then we can go to the general.
Yeah, that was.
I had attended a meeting or a webinar about the cleanup of the Zeneca site, which is also along the shoreline. And they were at one point in the discussion concerned about the possible sea level rise. They had a map that projected where the water would be if it rose 18 inches. And yeah, it completely covered the biking and hiking path. As well as it, one of the methods they were using is actually a physical barrier, and this would completely destroy any result from it, because the water rise would allow the chemicals that still exist there to go around the barrier.
Yeah, the pressure from the rising sea level will put pressure on the groundwater, will push it up. and some of the contaminants in those old sites. It's a possibility. And there's a lot behind the levee, which is keeping the seawater out. So
Yeah.
that has to be addressed, the contaminants and controls, and it has to be factored into the design and construction. We don't know for certain, but for us, for the most part, Chevron, you know, they're in their own world. We don't really know exactly what they have over there, except for the two big pipelines that come right through our plant, perpendicular to the proposed levee, which is a problem. But the contamination along that stretch, a lot of Dotson Marsh, others, is not like historically the industrial efforts that were going on over by the port on that side. So we don't have as much of a problem. But
there's another bad side, a Superfund side.
Oh, there's quite a few sides, yes. Yeah.
All right, well, thank you again. Anybody else have any other questions for Harry or already forgotten how to pronounce your last name? Randy Lockman. Okay. All right, well, thank you very much for that presentation. It gave us a lot of detail that we needed to explain everything, so we appreciate the time. And so with that, let's move on to the next item on the agenda, which is discussion items. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's one item on there. It's an update on the noise ordinance, Roddy.
No update for this month.
Okay.
You referenced one thing. Sure. The grants that Director Wien referred to from the San Francisco Bay Restoration Authority, they're helping to fund a good portion of the design work was with a lot of assistance from Supervisor Joy.
Very good. That's good to know as well. Okay, so now we're down to public comment, and it's for anything that's under the jurisdiction of the MAC, but not on the agenda. And the speakers can be limited to 2 minutes. Does anybody have anything you'd like to discuss that's not on the yes, go ahead, Allison.
I would like you to think about the intersection of Appian Way and San Pablo for pedestrians.
Again, yes.
You have seen.
I've seen you almost get hit by a car 3 times, yes.
I'm on the green team, Mickey's green team, and so I had a cart that was carrying the recycling and the garbage that I was picking up. And I was trying to cross Appian Way. I saw this guy who was trying to make a right turn. He was looking at the oncoming traffic. He was not looking for pedestrians. And so I was afraid to step out and when I had the green light for the walk. But one day I decided, okay, I will go out there. I will put the cart between me and the car. And I will put it fairly close to the car. So if he does start up, he will hit the cart and presumably stop and not be going very fast. And that is in fact what happened. He never looked. He hit the cart and I yelled at him, I have the light, but they don't look.
No.
Is there something you can do?
Well, that's.
Change the signal or something so that they don't get to go when we get to walk.
Okay, that is something that is Public Works and it's the county. And it's something that we should bring forward to, have you communicated this at all with the supervisor's office? Yourself?
I have only spoken out here.
Okay, well, Ronnie, this is I think I've mentioned this before. It's the reason it's more noticeable is that we have the weekly Friday, I'll call them gatherings, protests at that intersection, and I have participated in them. And I also almost got smacked by a car when I had the walk signal, because I'm not sure what can be done, but the dam road part is speeding because people fly through it, even though the speed limit is 25. There are people that do significantly more than 25 through there. And I think also it's a visibility thing from the Appian Way side. And I'm blanking on the name of the other street, which is right there, the one that comes down, and there's a visibility point for that as well. And it's something that needs to be done because someone is going to get seriously hurt at that intersection, and it's not right. And I don't know if it's a visibility thing or maybe maybe you have one of those, I don't know, somebody monitor things so that people can.
It's people making a right turn. They're looking for traffic, not pedestrians.
Exactly. So it is marked, and of course it has the walk signals, but there seem to be a subset of drivers that just aren't paying attention. And so I don't know how we would approach this, or if we need to have a list of how many times someone's nearly been hit, a pedestrian in that intersection. Particularly on that time frame on Friday afternoons. But something needs to be done.
Yeah, I can bring it up to Fernando, who's the main point of contact for Public Works. The best thing outside of that would just be to continue to put in any and all complaints to the mobile citizen app.
That's good.
Just so it's facts on that.
That's a good way to do it as well, because it's a tracking mechanism and it can show how many complaints there have been.
Yeah.
So that would be something. That'd be something that could be put in the supervisor's newsletter, or is it a separate item? We just want to try to find a way to get the word out there in a concentrated manner. You know,
specific. I don't know what specific question is.
Saying right turn yield to pedestrians.
Well, it is and it's not, because as you know, on Appian Way, they do have the situation with the right green arrow. So it's that it doesn't necessarily fit what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but
That's what I'm saying. It's a bad thing to tell a pedestrian they can walk when they could be hit by a car.
right,
You know?
I agree, because as I said, I witnessed it with you. So it was scary because they weren't paying attention. I'm like, it's like Allison barely got out the way before being clipped by a car. It was crazy.
They're making no turn without the light.
Well, that could be.
Yeah, well, either that or they should not tell the pedestrian that it's safe to walk, because it's not safe.
Okay. All right. Any other public comment for items on the agenda?
Clarification, what is this citizen mobile app?
Mobile citizen app.
Mobile citizen app,
It's
I don't know what that is.
it's an app and you download it and it's a recording mechanism. So kind of to see something, say something, but in an online or a forum.
So it's called the Contra Costa County.
No.
No, it's a mobile citizen.
It's mobile,
Yep, so it's basically an app that you tailor it to your area. Hang on, they're gonna show you, there you go. Okay.
okay.
There you go.
So, yeah, and you can record like, if you go down, you can.
Okay, sure.
Exactly.
You can take a picture and send it to me. Oh, that's how we doing something. It looks like I don't know. It does not. It's
So if we could just, yeah, we're gonna continue with the meeting now. That's okay. You're spreading excellent and important and necessary information. So it's very helpful. We're next up to information items. Does anybody on the MAC have any info items for anybody? Go ahead, Terry.
This Sunday, I'm doing another open air market, also known as a flea market. At the old Christian school, 5078 in Way. There's still room for vendors if you want to sell. It's reuse, repurpose, recycle. And also, if you happen to be an artist and you want to do some sort of art demonstration, we're opening it up to that as well. Vendor fees, if you're going to sell, is $30, but if you just want to do a demonstration, you get in free. And anybody that has an information booth that also isn't selling also does not have to pay the vendor fee. So I have things here if you are interested. And it's from 10 to 3. And if you're going to be a vendor, you need to be there between 8 and 9.
Okay.
Thanks.
I have a sort of related to that, even though it might be out there, just found out that the farmer's market, which was sort of on the street, has now been relocated into the area where the planting justice nursery is. It's kitty corner to the table. So when you drive by on Sunday morning, like, where'd the farmer's market go? It has moved slightly. And from what I've heard, I found out about that after it was closed. But from what I've heard is that the new location seems to work well.
I was there Sunday and it was delightful.
Okay.
It really was delightful.
For everybody on the parking lot of the table.
No, it's not the nursery, so. Yep.
What do they do with the nursery plants?
They're there too.
They're there too, they're able to make space for everything. All right, any other information items? No? For the subcommittee report, Mickey's not here. I was wondering, Terry, do you have a brief summary on her behalf?
On June 20th, we're doing our third monthly cleanup. Third weekly cleanup. How do you say that? Third Saturday. Meet at the library. It's always looking for more volunteers, and if you have any children that look for things you do during the summer, it's a great way to get it.
Last item on the agenda is speakers for upcoming MAC meetings, and Ronnie, we had a little chat earlier with Michelle from Comfire, and we try to get the new chief on our agenda so it can meet it, we've had, the battalion chiefs here in the past, and of course Chief Rochard came from multiple weeks, so we'd like to meet the new person, Chief McAllister. Anybody else have any other items that you think we should put on the agenda for a future?
We're up on the left.
What?
We're up on the left.
Oh, that's a good thing.
I have reached out, their meetings coincide with this meeting.
They have it at 7 p.m. on the second Tuesday.
I've reached out to the president and that's the information that they started.
Okay,
He's just the co-chair.
yeah, okay. Vice chair. Co-chair. Any other, yes, sir.
Not ready.
Okay, so here's the question.
We had started out asking certain businesses around town if they wanted to come and talk about their businesses, so is there somebody else we could think of that, like Catalyst Cares, for instance, or, I'm just coming out, Pace or Catalyst Cares, we're talking about the Elks, or getting one of them to Moose Lodge or somebody to come explain exactly what they do. I know we had this conversation a few meetings back.
Okay, well, maybe if we come up, we've got some ideas, maybe if we come up with some very specific entities. That's a kind of a brainstorming for you amongst the MAC, between now and the next meeting, maybe we just submit suggestions to Ronnie as to who could come in, and if it turns out to say 5 of us happen to think of the same thing, that particular entity could come. What do y'all think? Is that a good idea?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just like the idea of businesses being more accessible to us so that we really understand what's going on.
Okay, that's a fair point. So that's what we've got. More from LAFCO, the new Comfire chief, and potential other businesses to come and talk to us and say, this is what we do. So I think that's it. So I think we can say that we can adjourn this meeting at 8:17 p.m. Okay. Motion to adjourn. So here. Okay. We're done.
We'll be here till long.
Right.